Welcome to the Spring Boot tutorial. In this video, we'll break down the entire flow of Spring Boot, from bean creation, dependency injection, all the way to bootstrapping your application. By the end, you'll understand every important annotation with simple examples. Bean creation. Everything in Spring starts with a bean. A bean is simply a Java object, but instead of us creating it with new, Spring's container manages it. When we mark a class with annotations like @component, Spring takes that class, creates a bean, and keeps it ready for us to use. Dependency injection. Once beans are created, Spring connects them together using dependency injection. Think of it as Spring plugging in the required objects automatically. There are three types: constructor injection, the recommended way, setter injection, and field injection, which is not advised in modern projects. Stereotype annotations. To tell Spring what role each bean plays, we use stereotype annotations. @component is the generic one. @sign service is for business logic. @sign repository is for database operations. And @sign controller or @sign rest controller is used for building web APIs. This makes our application layers clean and organized. Auto-wired and qualifier. When there are multiple beans of the same type, Spring might get confused about which one to inject. That's where @autowired and @qualifier come in. Autowired tells Spring to inject the bean, and qualifier helps specify exactly which bean we want. For example, we might pick email service out of multiple notification services. Configuration and bean. Sometimes we want more control over how beans are created. That's when we use @configuration and @bean. With @configuration, we mark a class that defines beans. Inside it, @bean methods create and return objects that Spring will manage as beans. Spring Boot application. Finally, the magic of Spring Boot happens with @Spring Boot application. This single annotation combines three powerful ones: @enable auto configuration, @component scan, and @configuration. It scans our packages, configures dependencies automatically, and even starts an embedded server for us. That's why Spring Boot apps run with just one line: Spring application.run. So let's recap the flow. We start with bean creation, then use dependency injection to connect them. Stereotype annotations define bean roles, while auto-wired and qualifier handle injection details. Configuration and bean annotations give us manual control. And finally, Spring Boot ties it all together with @Spring Boot application to run the app seamlessly. That's the big picture of Spring Boot in action. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment if you want me to create that next tutorial. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.